Hello and welcome to Chapter 11, Lesson 3. We're going to be working on measures of variation. One thing I will be telling you, I'm going to split this lesson up into 2 days. So day 1 will be learn measures of variations. And then day 2, we're going to do find outliers. The reason why I'm doing this is this lesson, in my opinion, has a lot of information and it's a little bit, we have to learn all of these in one small little lesson. And look, we've got 3 standards, we have 5 math practices. This is going to be a tough lesson. So measures of variation used to describe distribution of the spread of data. They describe how values of a data set vary within a single number. A quartile is one measure of variation. Look in a dictionary and find words that begin with quar. Write 2 of the words in their definitions. So I know one is a quarter. So it's 1 of 4 equal parts. Quarterly is every quarter of a year. So quartiles are data set into 4 equal parts. That's the main thing, is we have to think about 4 equal parts. So this is James asks his classmates how many hours of TV they watch on a typical day. Number 1, this is divide the data into 4 equal parts. Draw a circle around each part. So I have to divide this into 4s. So I know I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Since I have 16, if I divide that into 4, I'm going to need to have 4 groups of 4. And that's going to give me, so how many data values are in each group? 4. So the measures of variation. This is what we're going to learn in day 1. Quartiles, the first and third quartile. Interquartile range, which is the IQR, and the range. So this here is what's going to help us big time. So I'm going to explain this. So we have the median, that's the middle. And in between the median, so now I split that in half. Now I'm only looking at my first half. In my first half, my first quarter, so my first half, the middle of my first half is here. That's the middle of my first half. If I look at my second half, the middle of my second half is here. And if you look, now I have 4 equal parts. That's how you divide up in quartiles. What I like to say is you have to find the medians of your medians. So in my first half, I find my median first. In my first half, I have to find my median again. In my second half, I have to find my median a third time. And that's going to give me my Q1s and my Q3s. So I'm dividing all these up into quarters. So if my median is in the middle, in between 3 and 4, I know my median is going to be 3.5. Now, my Q1 is going to be in between 1 and 2. So I know my Q1 is going to be 1.5. Q3 is between 6 and 7. So I know Q3 is going to be 6.5. So I found the median, and I found my first quartile, this Q1, and my third quartile, which is Q3. So that's here. Check, check. My IQR is the distance between the first and third quartiles of the data set. So my interquartile range means I take my Q3, so I'm going to make a little note up here, and you better be copying all this down for my students. IQR equals Q3 minus Q1. And that's going to give me the distance between Q3 and Q1. So here my IQR, Q3 is 6.5. Q1 is 1.5. So my IQR is going to equal 5. My interquartile range. Now the range is the difference between the greatest and least data values. So my range, I'll do range up here. That means highest subtract my lowest or smallest or whatever. So my range for here, my highest number is 8. My lowest number is 0. So my range, 8 minus 0 equals 8. So I'm going to review everything one more time. First, I have to find my median. So split that in half. My median's 3.5. Next, I have to find my first quartile. So my first half, what's in the middle? My median of my middle is in between 1 and 2. So if you notice, I have 4 numbers on the left side, 4 numbers on the right side. So my middle's in between there. So quartile 1 is going to be 1.5. Now I'm going to go to my second half. So in the middle is in between 6 and 7. I have 4 numbers on the left of my quartile 3. I have 4 numbers to the right. So 4 numbers to the left, 4 numbers to the right. So my middle of my second half is in between 6 and 7. So I get quartile 3 is 6.5. So that's quartile 1 and quartile 3. Now to find the interquartile range, I subtract quartile 3 minus quartile 1. So it's 6.5 minus 1.5. For my range, I take my greatest and lowest data values. So my highest is 8, or my greatest, and my lowest is 0. So I take 8 minus 0. And that's how I find my measures of variation. So let's do example 1. So find the measures of variation for the data. Oh, and did I also say we have to do my numbers from least to greatest? So least to greatest. Write that down. So I'm going to find the measures of variation. So I'm going to take my numbers and I'm going to, so I have the animal and the speed. I'm going to put them down from least to greatest. So I have 1, 8, 25, 30, 50, and 70. So first thing I need to do is I need to find my median. So my median is going to be in between 25 and 30. So my number in the middle of those, if I add them together and divide them in half, I get 27.5. And that's my median. Now that's the center. So to find my Q1, I have 1, 8, and 25. So my number in the middle of 1, 8, and 25 is 8. 8 is, so I'm just finding the median again. 8 is in between 1 and 25. My Q3, so I have 30, 50, and 70. My number in the middle is going to be 50. So my Q1 is 8. And my Q3 is 50. So my IQR, so I'm going to make note, IQR is third quartile minus my first quartile. So my IQR equals 50 minus 8. So my IQR equals 42. And the last thing is my range. So I'm going to kind of put everything in order. 50, IQR, 42, And my range is going to be my greatest number, 70 minus 1, so that equals 69. And those are my measures of variation. So go ahead and try A. Okay, so I have my numbers from least to greatest. I'm going to find Q1 and Q3. So I have to find the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is my median, which is 60.5, but I won't be needing it. So my Q1, so my first half, the number in the middle is 58. For Q3, so I'm going to make a little note, Q1. Q3's number in the middle of my second half is going to be 64. So my IQR, that's going to be 64 minus 58. And that's going to equal 6. And the last thing I need is my range. That's my highest value and my lowest value. So 71 minus 56. So my range is 71 minus 56. That equals 15. So it's a lot of information, but once you get the information down, it's, you're just kind of jotting it down information. And that's all I'm going to explain with today. So the next lesson will be going over outliers. And for my class, your homework, I still want you to do all the homework. Just my class, don't do D yet. You'll be doing the outliers afterwards. So get a head start on your homework, just don't do any of the outliers yet. But other than that, thank you for watching.